Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be super dry run, no music. I'm not in the studio. I'm reaching you guys from my hotel here in Abuja, and like they say, the show must go on, and I promise to get the show on the road. So that's definitely what I am doing. Just landed in Abuja. I thought I could make the 9 o'clock, but unfortunately there was serious traffic on the road, especially that Lugbe area this morning, and I didn't make it. Uh, I didn't make it by 9 o'clock, but at the same time, I know that there is plenty of talking point in football. And I mean, I made a promise last week that when I go to Abuja, the show will still run, and I expect to keep that promise. So I just checked in. As a matter of fact, this is not my room. This is a temporary room. The room that I booked is being cleaned up. Is being uh, re, uh, re rearranged. Okay, so I asked them to give me a temporary room where I can stay and do my show at least for an hour. When I'm done, I would I would be moving to my room. So you're watching me right now, and maybe tomorrow you watch me again, and the setting is different. Don't be surprised. It is what it is. They might just come and knock my room in the course of doing the show. Just like I said, they've come to knock my room door. Hold on. I'll be coming. Is it ready? I'm doing my show already, so my show you can come in and so my show. I'm doing my live broadcast already. My show is on. I have to finish before I move to my room. All right, just close the door. All right, guys. As promised, we got to get the show going. Sorry about that. They said my room, the room that I booked for, I paid for, is ready, but somehow we've got to take an extra hour on this in this room before I move. How are you? First off, let's start with how you guys doing. It feels very strange doing a show outside of the studio, but I think this is a new life that I need to learn, and I'm picking up a few equipment to make sure that even when I'm not in the studio, because right now, if you're listening on the radio, the show is still there, but I'm picking up a few more equipment that will make it seamless. If I'm traveling, I'll travel with a very portable console. I saw one online as I was coming from the hotel, just browsing through the internet, and I saw one console online, so that I can still have the feel of the studio, maybe not padded like we have in the studio, but we can have the feel of the studio anywhere we go. Once again, my name is Edafi Matthias. You're gonna love to come in Elegbeta One Sports. This is a sports buffet. It is Elegbeta TV radio live streaming all the way from Abuja. If you're listening on the radio on www.elegbetatv.com/radio, I'm sure you'll be hearing me. If you're listening on the mobile application, whether on your Android or your iOS application, I'm also sure you can hear me loud and clear. If you're streaming live on the YouTube channel, as I can see some people are already streaming us live, thank you very much for being there. If you're on Instagram with us, thank you also very much for being there. It is one thing to make a promise, it's another thing to work hard to keep it. The reason why I'm in Abuja is because of the Super Eagles. Super Eagles camp resumed today, and I felt like I followed the Super Eagles for a while from the Ganatro era. It was difficult to come to Abuja. Let me be very, very honest. It was difficult because I've spent everything, almost everything I had on my son's surgery, and I needed to just get this going. But promises are meant to be kept. When you make promise to people, you should respect them enough to keep it, and that's the reason why I'm here. So, uh, guys, endure whatever the lighting, how low the lighting is, over bright the lighting is, whatever it is. But let's just get the show going. And I'm going to start with you. I'm going to let you guys take the lead on this one. Take the talking point, and I just be your analyst. So you guys are going to throw up your talking point, what you want us to talk about. First off, let's look at result. Man City welcomed their former captain Vincent Company to the Etihad Stadium, but that was where it ended. The hug, the embrace, the announcing of his name, the whole shouting and sweet welcoming. After that, it was 6 goals to nil. Erling Haaland can't stop scoring another hat trick again. I think that's his fifth or sixth this season alone. Premier League, they said England is going to be difficult. England is going to be impossible. But well, that's your opinion, because as far as Erling Haaland is concerned, that didn't change a thing, as he was on fire, scoring goals and making things happen. So it's one of those things that you look at and you say to yourself, are they really? Is it really true that the Premier League is the hardest league, the toughest league to play in? And does it encourage a player like Osimhen to say, I can go to the Premier League and also score 30 to 40 goals? Because, I mean, Osimhen, talking about Osimhen is now goal number 21 in the Premier League. When the season started, I told him if he make 20 goals this season in the Serie A, sorry, not Premier League, in the Serie A, he would have tried, because Serie A is full of tough tackling defenders that are ready all up in your face, making life difficult for you. And I said to him, Victor, if you do 20 goals this season, 20 goals, that's like ultimate. But I guess I was kind of like limiting the boy. I not 20 goals in all competition, just the Serie A. Now he's already done 21. Now I am greedy. I want him to do 30, probably 35. If he gets to 25, that's a good man. If he gets to 35, if he does 37, he will become the all-time, like the player that has scored the most number of goals in a particular season. Highest right now is Gonzalo Higuain with 36 goals for this same Napoli. He needs to score 37 goals to make that happen. And the matches remaining enough. He needs to score a couple of hat-trick, a couple of braces to make that happen. I don't think he's done a hat-trick. Then talking about hat-trick, Alicia has just got a hat-trick going into the international break, which is very, very good, and dedicated the goals to all the mothers out there in the world in when he was interviewed by the broadcasters, the official broadcasters of the English Premier League, Sky Sports, and all those who are broadcast partners of the Premier League. It was nice, seeing Nigerian players scoring, and it was beautiful to see the handsome and amazing, nice young man, Taiwo Awoniyi, recovering from injury, going through physio and getting back into working, doing some hard work with the ball and all that. I hope that before the season runs out, we will see him come back to play again. One thing I said at the beginning of the season, and I'm still reiterating, is that Nottingham Forest will not be relegated. Yes, people will say he shouldn't have left Union Berlin, blah, 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 but they will not be relegated, and they might be a solid force come next season. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that one and see how it goes. Well, the Super Eagles are expected to start coming into camp today. I haven't heard of anybody landing in yet. This is morning. Normally Monday you have like 2, 3. First the home-based player, the Nigerian league players will come in, and then later the other ones, the foreign-based players will come in. And something you need to understand with coming into Nigeria is people. I've seen somebody send me a message that why don't Nigerian players come in the first day and the second day of camp? The thing about traveling is sometimes it is one, team list may have been released late, and then you start booking your flight and the route. You don't control all route. From where they are coming, they might be connecting flight, they might miss a flight, one thing or the other might happen, and all of that should be put into consideration when we judge these players so that we don't go hard on them. Then there's the talk of why were so many Nigerian-based players invited to the camp, and there's a story that I read somewhere that the NFF, because they don't have enough money, have decided the Super Eagles cannot afford to invite a full house of 30 foreign or 35 foreign-based players anymore. What the coach, Jose Pesero, needs to do is get 20 foreign-based players and then add up the team with Nigerian-based players anyhow you can get them, so that it reduces cost. Like I've told you guys before, under the Amaju regime and the previous regime, one Super Eagles game costs between 300 to 350 million. There are no money anywhere. There is we didn't go to the World Cup, so that the bonus that's supposed to come with going to the World Cup is not there. We didn't win the African Cup of Nations. We left very early. We also didn't make money. So a lot have set us back. We don't have all those sponsors bonuses that come with winning the Nations Cup, that comes with qualifying for the World Cup. So there is no money there. So I even though I've not confirmed that story, but I am tempted to believe the story that it is really true, because it is a way of solving the immediate problem that the NFF have. Let's not forget that one of the things you need to look at is desperate times calls for desperate measures. Okay, normally I would not stay in this hotel that I'm staying, but I came into Abuja today. I don't have the money. I don't have the fund, but I have a job to do. I need to get close, especially now that we just set up a studio in the UK. I need to one-on-one meet with some of the players, the UK-based players, and explain to them that my reporter, my cameraman, my crew in the UK will be coming to visit them in their stadium or in their training ground, in their clubhouse, and in their own personal house. Taiwo Awoniyi have already given us the green light that we should wait for him to recover fully. He would give us access to his house, his wife, and his daughter. We can have an interview there. That is a very big plus as far as I'm concerned. And there is a whole lot of other things that is going on. So that's primarily why I am in Abuja. It's not because of my film. My film, that's a different work, a different entity entirely. But the reason why I'm in Abuja is to, try to get a soft landing with the players, since I'm not going to be regularly in the UK, and my crew might just be very strange and new to them. And you know how footballers are. Celebrities generally like to protect their territory and not open their doors to strangers. So I'm here for a relationship, bridge building relationship, to come and try to get sail through. It might work, it might not work, but I mean, nothing venture, nothing gain, so they say. And if you don't put effort, you cannot write a story of success. That's what they always say when I was growing up. And let's not forget that in Spain, the Clasico went down, and it was almost looking like Real Madrid were going to nick this one and own goal by Araujo, and you felt like, okay, this was going to happen, but that didn't happen. It became 1-1, and it was almost looking like it's going to be a draw. But now, I think Barcelona are 12 points clear of Real Madrid with that late minute Franck Kessie goal that changed the tide of the game. Having said that, let's go into what you people have got to say. And as usual, as tradition on this show, we always start with the Instagram people. And today, Olaoluwa Bamidele says, loads to talk about. Okay, I want to see you bring them in. It's fine. Patrick _20 joined us as well. I am Mr. Senna. He said, I thought there won't be show to do. I don't check tire. Thank God you don't show like TV. All right, sorry about that one. It's because, okay, I mean, I tried to book a very early flight so that I can be here before 9. But then I got to the airport. First off, baggage claim, it was delayed on, a little bit. There was a little bit of each with that. And then our takeoff from Lagos, we wasted an extra 30 minutes. Okay, so it wasn't like to the time that was promised. And then here again, we spent another extra 42 minutes before we collected our baggages. And then while coming from the airport to Wuye is close to the stadium. If you remember, if you know Abuja very well, we had to spend some time in traffic, Lugbe, and some other parts of the road that I don't know the location, but there was traffic coming in, and that caused the delay. I'm sorry, guys, for making the show come 1 hour late. Well, it was 16 minutes gone already. Baba _J619 said, Amigo Bros. Brando, he said, I thought the show was for 9 a.m. Yes, it is for 9 a.m., but I'm in Abuja right now, and I've explained the circumstances that led to the show starting 10 a.m. I think tomorrow, if the Super Eagles are not training in the morning, the show will run for 9 a.m. Remember that I'm in Abuja, so for the period that I'm in Abuja, the show might just fluctuate a little bit. I just hope that you guys will bear with me and show me some understanding, because I will prioritize Super Eagles training over every other thing. And then there are days where I would need to go to the Super Eagles hotel. And then there are some people I need to see, my podcast team co-host, Emmanuel Babayaro. I need to go see him. I also need to see the NFF president at the NFF office. I will try to see him, and I want to have a conversation, private conversation. I'm not sure I'm going to record that one on the project, the plans that they have, where media can come in, what kind of support we can give to them, where they are facing challenges, what we need, if there's any need for us to explain anything to the audience out there. Communication is key. Without communication, you will lose the audience, and people will just jump into conclusion and start peddling rumors and stories that are not true. So if there's anything we can do, I would really love to get that done. But the primary reason why I'm in Abuja is to talk to players like Kelechi and Acho, if he will give me audience, Wilfred Ndidi, and a few other players who play in England. And then we're also looking to set up a Germany or Italy studio. Germany, Italy, Belgium, or France. I'm looking at one of those places to set up a studio where we can touch base with a lot of African players and Nigerian players across the Schengen space. Remember, because of Brexit, being in the UK does not mean you have easy access anymore across the Schengen nation. So that's one of those things that will make us set up another studio. It doesn't mean that we have given up, because somebody sent me a message. This one that you're setting up a studio in the UK. Are you planning to relocate? Are you planning? It was a footballer in grassroots. Are you planning to leave us and not shine the spotlight on us again? Because of you, let me even read it safe. But I should summarize. Because of you, all of us have hope that the spotlight of the game will be upon us. Something like that was what he said. I'm paraphrasing now. And I said, I'm not relocating. I'm actually not relocating. But this is a business. It's a business that needs to grow. The audience, sometimes, as much as you want to do, you want to focus on Nigerian content and do content in Nigeria only. I've tried it. The grassroots content doesn't really bring the numbers. It is the national team content and content that we do abroad that brings in major numbers. So I'm looking at that, because I'm also tired of putting out the content and it's 200 views, 200, 150, 140, 120, and the rest of them. So I really want to stretch it. And let's not forget, this is like my major work. Every other thing that I do, like help to sell properties, help people to buy land, or run any errand for people, it is side hustle. This is my main hustle. Your main hustle should be progressing arithmetically or geometrically, progressively. But if it is getting stunted, no matter how tough of a human being you are, you start getting scared and worried that, are you failing at this or not? So there's a need for dynamism and adjustment. That's what's happening. Okay, Zacchaeus Salahu says Real Madrid fell to Barca again. What is going on? Yes, I think this is strange, because in the Champions League they are solid, and then they play in the league, and you look at the Barcelona team that really didn't do well in the Champions League and even against Manchester United in Europa, and you see them, crumbling. You start asking yourself, what is going on? Well, I'm also asking that question, but I think that the effect of the financial problems, the exit of Messi finally, and the host of all those great players that they have affected the team. The team would eventually bounce back. This is football. The team would eventually bounce back. When? I don't know, because I don't have the clairvoyant powers to be able to predict how life will be. If I have that power, I'll be super rich right now, because I'll be able to tell myself exactly where the money at, and I'll go look for it, and the content that will bring the numbers. Okay, Ola Aloha Bamidele say, Finidi and Ike Shorumu news of being eased from the Eagles camp. What is your take and how true? So first off, I heard the news, but I have not confirmed it. So it's going to be hard for me to have a take on it right now. But let's say hypothetically that it is true. The people that ease them out obviously have a reason. It's an employment. It's not an entitlement. So it's not a right. If the people that employ them feels, okay, you're no longer needed, you're no longer useful for our project, they can say, okay, go. It doesn't mean because you're ex-international, you must be there. So I think that either ways we look at it, the employers that determine who stays and who doesn't stay. If they look at it that this is extra money that we're paying, these guys have their own regular job, like Finidi works with Eyimba, Nike Shoromu, have his life to live. Why put them here and just pile up debt? And at the end of the day, we're going to struggle to pay it. So it's cutting cost time. The last time I spoke with, the one and only time that I spoke with the NFL president since he got elected, and he told me that, look, my brother, it's cutting cost time. We don't have money. We can't pretend about it. I say, yes, now you know. You remember, because I've had a conversation with him before. And he said, yes, he's on the board, so you understand. But the reality is that when you are the head, it hits you differently. And I can understand. I remember when I was a worker, my job is just to go to the microphone, do my show, feel good, and go out. Now I'm a CEO, okay? I think of where, I think of internet, I think of everything. And then I think of my family. And then I think of also some fans, some people who are our fans who maybe will be having one financial issue, health issue, school fees issue that you have to cater for. You must, because these guys also spend their time and resources to follow you. And if they come to you with a problem, you've got to be able to fix it. So I think it's because of the financial issue. They are cutting costs, so they are reducing the overhead of the NFF because it is really high. The NFF overhead is really high and money is not coming in. We didn't go to the World Cup. The damage that did to Nigerian football cannot be quantified in one go. So we will keep watching and see how it goes. Stepmanic too say, Elegbete Baba, please, can you address the issue of Pesero that say Finidi and Shiromu should not be in the camp. Well, I don't think it's Pesero. I just addressed it now. Sep Monique said, if you jackpot, I go cry you because it's your show that make me happy every day since the time you are in Brilla. Let me be very honest with you guys. I am blessed with a woman who sees me the way I see Nigeria. I do not think so. I'm also privileged to have traveled, a little bit. I've not traveled the way I would love to travel. You might say 52 countries, but that's not enough. I still want to go to places. I've not been to a lot of places. Now, before we got married, I told my son, this is what we're going to be 12 years today. In June. And I've known my wife for like 13 years now. Basically, before we got married, I told her that, look, I do not do long distance relationship. I don't have a plan to travel abroad. I'm not planning to stay abroad. I think that everybody have a calling, and my calling will function here in Nigeria. And when I first said that, she's like, oh, you are going to be a pastor. I don't want to marry a pastor. I said, no, not only pastors have calling. Everybody have a purpose for which God created them. I think that I belong to the nation building category. I'm a nation builder. And if I go abroad, I'm just going to go there, earn money, maybe buy one house, pay mortgage, live my life. Good. But my job is to influence and impact, in people, in my sphere of influence, which is sports and media. And this is where I'm going to be. And I also told her, I said, the journey go tough. Money not did this job. So it go tough. If you're not going to marry me now, just know now, decide now. And, and it was fine. Somebody's asking why did she want to marry a pastor. I would explain that later anyway. She was fine with it, and she said she doesn't also like a long distance relationship. She cannot stay abroad with her children, and then her husband is in Nigeria. So wherever I stay is where she will stay. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Okay, so that settles it. I am never going to relocate. I'm never going to relocate. I always think that I have a role to play here. And if I live here, I will just be existing and not living. And I want to live. So that's the way it is. Let's come back to football matter. Akbas Baba 82 says, Mingwa Bros, I was expecting to see you by 9 a.m. Anyways, it's good to see you again. Good morning, everyone. This Elegbate family. Thank you very much. It is flight delay and traffic on the road. Let's go to YouTube. I've not seen anybody ask any football question apart from the Finidi Judge question anyway. Jeremiah Ehirim says, welcome, bros. Thank you very much. Ogujimi Mobolaji said, what's your comment on the way the NFF treated Finidi Judge and the goalkeeper trainer in the Super Eagles camp? I think I've dealt with that one. I'm still going to try my best to get source information, right? Because I've always said, unfortunately, I am part of the media, but I've always said that I don't like dealing with issues if I just hear it from the media. And, the media does not really give any quotes, any explicit explanation. So I'm going to try. I mean, Abuja, there's no way I'm not going to get information as regarding to that. Before this show runs out, I'll get information. I might do Abuja Diary in the evening, late in the evening, probably around 10 p.m. And by then, I should have something. It could be 30 minutes or 45 minutes, but I would have gotten something at that. The reason why I want to try that is I want to use it to test run the evening show that we plan to do for 1 hour because a lot of people are asking for it. Stepmonic 2 says, sir, you have traveled to 52 countries. Whoa, sorry, guys. Sorry. This is not the studio in Lagos, so some things are not set in stone the way you would expect them. Some things are just temporary fix. So we got to manage it the way it comes. You have traveled to 50 countries. Whoa. Do you have dual passport? I used to, but I threw one. I cut one apart, and everybody why? People are still angry with me that I gave up my American passport, but I think for as long as I have that. Okay, somebody said that if losing is an option, then you do not give your all to get the win. But if losing is not an option, you do everything to win. And I believe that it was 50 Cent that said it. I believe that, and I think that strategically and deliberately, I have lived my life to say, okay, I want to give everything for Nigeria. I want to be able to make an impact. And I think that ordinarily, like this, between 2014 and now, I've made great stride in that direction. I've made impact. I've trained people. I've helped Nigeria to win Olympic bronze medal in 2016. I've contributed a whole lot in changing the face of grassroots media, the face of sports media in the grassroots sector of Nigeria, even within the league, forced the league to be on YouTube. It's not easy, but I think that kind of gave me joy. Like I told my wife when I say, if I fall down and die today, I think I've been a success already, but there is still more ground to gain. I mean, Rupert Murdoch is somebody in the UK, the owner of Sky Sports. Maybe one day I could make such impact. Not the impact of having Sky Sports, but the kind of impact that he have on the EPL. David Dean, for instance, who started this whole move of what is now the EPL. Okay, so one day that would happen, and we'll all sit down and tell the story differently. But for now, let's just enjoy the flow as it goes. Well, Akwazoba, he said, Abego, is it that Nigerian players don't grant interviews? Are they being proud because I don't know what Ian Acho they play way go make them feel like Abacha? Well, so this question you ask now, a very senior journalist asked me this question one time, and I said to him, I said, the problem is not the players. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I like to be very, very honest. I don't like to overrate myself and put myself where I don't belong. And before I go, let us also appreciate one man, Hybrid 10, Roland Nosa sent me this jersey all the way from the US. Okay, he lives in the US. He bought this jersey. Remember one time he promised that he doesn't like me wearing the Bayern jersey as an Arsenal fan, that he was going to buy me a jersey. And he indeed bought me this jersey and put my name on it. It's number 10. First time I'm wearing a jersey with number 10 on it. And then first time I'm having a jersey with a Daffy since I stopped playing football. A Daffy is on the back. It's always celebrated this or celebrated that or controversial this or controversial that. And number 7 has always been my favorite number, but this time number 10, I kind of like love it anyway because my son is 10-year-old. He's going to be 11 in April next month. But I mean, I'm happy about the jersey. So guys, you could chip in a word to say thank you to Hybrid 10. He's also the first person that gave us super chat on this channel. Okay, so plenty of thanks to the man for doing that, sending it through UPS for me to go pick up at the post office in Lagos. Thank you very much, Hybrid 10, for being a wonderful guy and a believer of this vision. Ayib Global Services says, good morning, boss. Happy New Week. Hope you had a stress-free traveling. What's your take on the Manchester United match yesterday? Fulham sold that match. Fulham could have won the game. All of a sudden, the game went from good to bad, and 3 red cards, 2 players and their coach, and you know that it was over. But Man United also stayed in the game. So we'll say credit to their goalkeeper, David De Gea. They could have considered 2 or 3 goals even before the red card started coming in. But once Fulham players couldn't control their head, looked like match fixing to me, they were obviously going to lose that game, and that's exactly what happened. Congratulations to Manchester United. Baba_J619, he said, bros, do you think the Arsenal team can win the EPL? Like I said, and I've said many times, April is going to be the decider. There are 6 games in April. Of those 6 games, there is Liverpool on the 6th, and then there is Manchester City at the end. But Liverpool, Man City will also play each other, and you know, all this cross-pollination of games like that. I think that I'm going to sit where I am, and I'm going to look at it and just have fun, because there are some things that I don't want to put myself in a place where I am second guessing and, you know, over guessing, trying to play God in the conversation of Arsenal title win. I think that if Arsenal can beat Liverpool at Anfield, which is going to be very, very difficult, the title is already won. But like Mikel Arteta loves to say, let's take it one game at a time. So let's say one game at a time. But right now, it is 10 finals to go. Of those 10 games that is remaining, Arsenal needs to win 8, actually. Or win 8 and draw 1. But winning 8 makes it good. They are 8 points ahead of Man United, but Man City right now, but Man City have a game in hand. Let's not forget that. That is always something to remember. But they have won a lot of converts. Now, this is one of the things that I told to one of my Egbon that is an Arsenal fan. He called me yesterday night and he said, Essay, do you think Arsenal will win the title? I say yes. Now I think they would, but let's not forget that they started the season with the hope of making top four. Now, if they now end up not winning the title and making top four, the season will be a disaster. A lot of people will see it as a disaster because of the way and manner they got knocked out of the Europa Cup with the cost of the Kardashian on the day. Having said that, okay, that said already, let's also remember that it's not just enough to say Arsenal will win it. We should also consider, yes, Arsenal have played the best football consistently this season, but with all that best football, they are not really very far, like Napoli is from their chasing pack. They are not really very far from Man City. And all of a sudden, Man City have found not just form, but everybody, Man City, Kevin De Bruyne, Erling Haaland, have found form. So Arsenal needs to win. I like how they played against Crystal Palace yesterday. They got the job done. And that's exactly what they need now. They got the job done. Arsenal have the most clean sheet this season. What's it called? Ramsey have the most clean sheet this season. You have Saka who's got 10 goals, 11 goals and 10 assists. You have Martinelli who's got 11 goals or more already, 3 assists. You have Odegaard there. You have Thomas Partey. Everybody, Granit Xhaka. Everybody's just chipping in with goals. Yesterday, I tweeted something. I said, I'd rather have a whole team of goal scorers like Man City had last season than have one player that scores me 50 goals in a season. While the 50 goals player is good, might win the European Golden Boot, win everything, just like we saw with Diego Forlan in Villarreal. You just might not win the league title. But if the goals are coming from everywhere, it's better. But let's see how it goes at the end of the day. I think that Arsenal are on course, but April, if at the end of April, they are still 5 points above Man City, the title is won and lost already. Okay, Olaoluwa Bamidele say, what is your take on the under-23 team list merit-wise? I have not really properly scrutinized the list, but some of the names that I've seen, they are exciting. Then some of the names that I've seen are exciting. My question is, would their club allow them to come? Because this is exactly, I think our coaches don't learn. This is exactly the similar mistake that Imama Mapakabo, remember that under 23 team that didn't qualify for even the All African Games, the Olympics, under Imama, that had Imama, Kennedy Boboye, and Fidelis Elechuku as their coach. I was in this very hotel, came to meet Imama, and on that night we were calling. I helped to put the call through to what's his name now? Maduka Okoye at the time. Maduka Okoye had not made his debut for the Super Eagles, and I said they want to play Shemi Ajayi and the rest of them. But something always happened. After I left and I spoke to them on my own, they were like, Baba, you know that this thing is not about us. It's our club. If our club say they are not obligated to release us for under 23 competition, there is nothing anybody can do. And that's the fear that I have. That's another reason why I like Siasia. Siasia always build his team with players that are here in Nigeria with the under 23. Build his team first. And then the foreign-based players will not just be like an addition. To start the list and have a truckload of foreign-based players, as good as it is, as exciting as it is, I know football well enough that, one, this is the business end of the season. There is not a club, even if the player is sitting on the bench, that wants to release their young player, because to them, it could just be a backup if there is an urgent injury. Imagine there was no Rob Holding and then Saliba just got injured. You know how it's going to be like. So those are some of the things that I worry about when I saw the list. But the coach must have done a proper scouting for the players that he select. But let's keep our fingers crossed and see how that goes. Having said that, 69 Lima says, what's your take on the under-20 players invited to the team and some of the foreign-based players invited to the under-23 Eagles? Some people feel they are from lower leagues in Europe. I don't care where a player plays from. It's the coach that will carry the worm. If the coach thinks that they are good enough, then they are good enough. Happy birthday in advance to your son. He's going to be professional player like you too. Nah. My son, I will not go play football. I don't even know. You don't know how many players make a football team. He's already going to be 11. If at the age of 11, you never even know what football. He doesn't have. He hates me. Once I'm watching football, he walks out of the house. He hates me watching football. So if there's anybody that have football in him in my house, is my last one, the one that just had did his surgery. That one doesn't look like he like football, he like basketball, he like anything. But he's 3 years old, so you really can't tell. But he likes ball. But I don't think I have any child that have the football DNA that I have, because I remember growing up, I was kicking it from the very beginning. My kids are not like that, and it's going to be hard for me to want to force it on them. But I think my kids are more into tech. My daughter is media. She's got information. She know how to disseminate information, break information down, tell me the year this music came out, the person who wrote the song, like things that I don't know at her age. She's 8, going to be 9 in May, and she knows all of that. So I don't think I have a child that is really good football in them. Ayib Global Services say PSG losing again yesterday, and Messi being booked. Kim Kardashian was there again. Okay, one of the Kardashians were there again. Step Manic, he said the under 23 list even have one Arabo guy there that is playing in Azerbaijan. Nigeria soon again, Matt. All right, let's go to our YouTube people. Isaac Akamla say, good to hear from you. It's been a while. Let me say congratulations to you and your APC people for all your victories, even though the victory is under a cloud. But I mean, I promised you before that if you people win, I will not be a sore loser. I will congratulate you. And I can Labi. And I do that. People say congratulating APC is a bad thing. No, I'm not a bad loser. Okay. If you have evidence that they did not win it, you always go to court. But for as long as today they stand as the people who stand as winner, congratulate them. Isaac has been my friend for a very long time. So he's been a friend and a brother, and I would always see him as that. I'm not one of those who, because of election, will lose friends. I'm not one of those who, because of football, will lose friends. My friends are my friends. We disagree on many things, but we are still going to be friends because our friendship was not because of politics. Our friendship was not because of election, or probably could have been because of sports, but we didn't build our friendship to destroy it, to hate each other. So I'm a keeper. I keep friends. Unless you stab me, you betray me, you try to hurt me deliberately ahead. But I don't let trivia aside things to make me lose my friends. I always love to keep my friends. Divine Toke say, hey boss, it was a yo-yo weekend for me. Osimhen scoring is quickly becoming a normal thing, like daybreak and nightfall. I like that phrase. He said, I had Kevin, Ajayi, Nacho, Iwobi, and 2 others are in camp already. I heard that too. I've not been to the camp. The hotel is in Asokoro. I will go to the camp around 4. Okay, because you have to also let the players settle in and rest. I also don't want to go to the hotel and be hanging around like a layabout. It's not what I know how to do. I mean, I need to carry myself in a professional manner for people to also treat me in that manner as well. Isaac Akamola say talk about the El Clasico and Kessie especially. He almost left Barca during the summer. During the winter. The summer was when he came. He came in the summer, and it was the winter. Yeah, he had not settled in. Let's not deceive ourselves. He played a few games against Valladolid where he was the guy that they were picking on. He almost picked up a red card because of the way he plays. Always spreading his hand, and you know the way they play in Spain. It's about short passes, quick movement, and all that. So the coach was not playing it regularly, and he felt like he should go. But then no move came in, and he didn't want to go on loan. And now he's adding value. I guess he's learning. There are players who are willing to adapt their game to suit their environment. And I think what I've seen of him now compared to what I saw of him at the beginning is learned a whole lot, and he has improved in his game, which is very, very good for a football player. It's something you wish to see with players. Emmanuel Esi say, keep the good work. Thank you very much, my bro. That name Esi is a legendary name. Like you have Awolowo in the West, is a legendary name in Warri, the South. Budu. I don't know if you're related to AC. And I know one Emmanuel is like Thomas' son. I don't know if that is you, but if it is you, I salute you. And my regards to Austin Ojakovo and the rest of them, Evans, and all those guys. If you're that the person that I'm thinking you are anyway. Johnny Gavase Guman Yedafe. Johnny has been a wonderful guy with us. Thank you very much for being there. Ihegbe Hobert say, you are doing well, boss. What justification for the coach bring player from non-league? And also my fear is on our midfield. What is your your stake. I think you're asking me take. Who do you think he should have invited? I think that the coach invited the players that he needed. I don't think that there's any player that he should have invited that he did not invite. But my take on the non-league player, that's not a big deal per se. So a national team coach can actually go and watch street football. There's no law against it. Can actually go and watch street football and see a player playing street football and say, this player is good enough to be my national team. There is no law that says your player must be playing in Europe, your player must be super professional. No. When we were playing football in the 70s, the national team, the Green Eagles in the 70s and in the 60s, players were picked from the streets to play for the national team. So going back to that process, it's not really an impossible team. I just hope that the players have international passports anyway. Again, if you look at the team, the core of the players that will make the team are already invited. So it's not like, oh, these players that are coming in now that they want to use to expose them or give them a chance and use them as a competition are not the core starters. But then again, let's be very honest here. A couple of years before Jamie Vardy won the league with Leicester, he was working at a factory. And was playing Sunday football. He wasn't professional. He went to 2 different clubs. They didn't sign him because he was playing Sunday football. He was already old. And then he went to Crystal Palace and they signed him. Went on to become highest goal scorer for Arsenal, all-time highest goal scorer, won the league, won the highest goal scorer in the Premier League. So in football, there is really nothing that says a non-league player cannot play for your national team. What does a coach want? Talent and attitude. That's all a coach wants. And talent and attitude is not resident with only players that are playing league. Yes, professional training means that they get some edge. But then with Nigeria right now, let's be very honest. Nigeria did not qualify for the World Cup. Nigeria didn't do well at the Nations Cup. With all the avalanche of professionals that you have, don't you think that it would also be a psychological challenge to the foreign-based players to know that, you know how when God, in the Bible, when God says that if you will not praise me, I will raise stone to praise me. Do you know what it means for stone to praise God in your place? It puts man on the position of saying, no, I will always praise God because I don't want stone to take my place. Now, that's something that I think is happening here. I'm not trying to sound like a preacher man, but I think that sometimes we should get out of the norm, the position that we always carry. We always think, okay, it must be like this. This is not the way that they do it. They're not doing it like this. The world go end. So we should also realize that this thing can be done differently. Let's see where it goes first. Then we cannot say, okay, no, this is the way you do. So this experiment no work. If we don't allow experiments, science for no exist. Because everything that science have produced is a byproduct of experiment. So let's say the coach experiment. I remember in 98, we had a coach called Philippe Trouzier. Some of you are older will remember that coach. Qualified, first coach to qualify for Nigeria for the World Cup with a game to spare. The reason people don't like him was because he was playing 3 at the back. And in the history of Nigerian football, we've always had 4 people at the back. So that 3-4-3 formation that evolved into 3-5-2, Nigerians didn't like him. They didn't have problem with the pattern of play or the goals that we're scoring because we're winning matches. But they just said, now when we look at the team list, we don't know who's going to play number 2 and who's going to play number 3 and who play 3 at the back. Fast forward to Antonio Conte at Chelsea, and in future football, 3 at the back have now become the mainstay. What people would have given now to go back to that time. So I don't want to be one of the kind of people who made those mistakes. I like to learn from past experience. And the experience from the past says that we goofed and we went to go and bring in Bora Milutinovic, who came back and played 4-4-2 that we're used to. And we saw how the World Cup went in 98. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that if this coach is going to experiment, I want to see him experiment. The toughest and bravest coaches in the world always experiment. Because coaching is both science, art, and everything put together. And if this is how he wants to get his result, I am with the coach. I'm down with the coach forever. Because I've always said this. I will always support a coach until his result, his competitive result. I don't care about friendly match result. Until his competitive result states otherwise. For now, Joseph Pesero's competitive result is fantastic. And again, there's actually not been a coach that have coached Nigeria that we've ever liked. We only like them after they are gone. It's like our leaders. They're only better after they are gone. So I'm going to stick with the coach. I'm not going to stick in that narrative. I'm going to sit with the coach and see him do what he wants to do. What if he carried this non-league player and put the guy becomes a joker? Sunday Oba had not played football for 2 years. He won us the Nations Cup. Emmanuel Amunike was playing for Zamalek. Let's be very honest. Today's Nigerian football, you go and bring a player from Zamalek and put him in the Super Eagles and bench people like them, Sasia, and players that play in Europe. But Nigerian fans will shout in this social media age, Zamalek. When we get people like the Osimhen, the Terry Murphy, and this one they play for Europe. He don't bring on boy, they play for Egypt. And one user do marketing now. But then he scored 2 goals in the finals. We won it. He won the African Footballer of the Year. We should allow our coach the luxury of him putting his desire and his ability to test. And then we'll see what comes out. What if that opportunity makes that boy get seen and that boy become a super player tomorrow? I mean, it was a gamble that Emmanuel Amunike gambled that gave him Osimhen a chance to play at the under-17 and he wanted to score 10 goals. Osimhen was never invited. Osimhen, let me be very honest with you guys. This Victor Osimhen that we're talking about, Osimhen not be footballer when he go play under-17. No. Tosin and me talk. Osimhen was playing for one team. He had only trained once with the team. He had not played a single match. He not do anything. Then Ario saw him. Ario of what's this team called? Box to Box saw him. And then that's how they pushed for him to go to under 17. So much so that Emmanuel Amunike did not believe in the boy. He said, if you say a good way, you bring a come Abuja. They brought now this same hotel, this hotel they brought him, took him to go project. First game, they put him 15 minutes. It was a flop. They told him to go back. He went, cried, came to hotel. Next thing, they said, okay, give him another chance. They gave him another chance. That's the story. The rest, as they say, is history. The most expensive player ever to be transferred out of Nigeria to Europe. So before we play this whole super expert coaching, let's also remember our history. There was a time in Nigerian football where players were taken from inter-house sports, school sports, the Samson Siasas of this world, the Stephen Keshies of this world, the Aboegbes of this world. These guys, the Adokia Mesemakas, the Henry Wosus of this world, were all taken from school sports. And the rest, as I say, is history. Some people have still not played half as good as those people played. Some who even went to Europe, who were born in Europe, went through the best academicals, went through some of the best coaches in the world. So I'm not going to sit here and say the coach should not do that. Because if I'm in this position, I would even do worse. I'll go to the street and pick players and put some players under pressure. Give them confidence, say you can do it. So I think we should believe in the team, believe in the coach. Let's not believe in some set of players. I know that that's the new norm in football followership. And you don't follow the team anymore, you follow the players. So, for instance, if the coach is treating a certain player bad, you start hating the coach, you start hating the team, you start wishing the team to lose. No. When I grew up, we grew up supporting a team, not the player. Anybody who wears that jersey, that's the reason why if you see me wear an Arsenal jersey, you will hear me Gunners for life. You don't know me, you love the team. And this jersey can make me pass through some trouble. Can also get me into trouble if I walk into a wrong environment where people don't like Arsenal fan anyway. But I'm just telling you, so that same love, loyalty, and respect is what we should give to our Super Eagles. The Super Eagles of Nigeria, not the European base of Nigeria. So anybody who is invited in that camp is a Super Eagle. Like Noble said something to me, the goalkeeper. He said, bros, you know they treat me different from the players we come from abroad. I said, because you're a Super Eagle player. Once you're in this camp, you're a Super Eagle player. I don't even know the difference between you and the person who come from abroad. You all of Unai, a Super Eagles player, and I'm going to give you that kind of respect. That's just the way it is. So we have to always look at that. This is my opinion. You might disagree with me, but this is my opinion on that matter. And I think it's the last I'm going to say about that. On Instagram, Special Force says, good analysis. Thank you very much. Tepmonic said, Felipe Troja, the White Witch Doctor. Yes, that was his name. Yeah, Ayib Global say, make it not be say we go call like GMB after the swaying of power to new government. Well, I never can tell. You never can tell, but I don't think it's going to be like that. Olalo Abamidele said, by saying his competitive result is fantastic, please shed more light, sir. Honestly, judging by his friendlies, we are not doing well. Well, we beat every opponent that we've played in the qualifiers. That's competitive result. And Nigeria have not beaten any team 10 goals to nothing before. I beat 10 goals to 1. Is it 10 goals to 1 that will beat Satoma Principal 10-0? So for me, those are the results you're judging by. Somebody said, me, I love Manchester United and Quara United. So let's come back to the guys on YouTube. Johnny Gafasi, why didn't she want to marry a pastor? Well, there are reasons. I also don't think I would ever want to be a pastor. I don't think it's something that I would even think of. But I think that me and my wife, we've got a lot in common. There is a way we see pastor religion in Nigeria, because we're not Christian. Nigeria is not a Christian country. Nigeria is a deeply religious country, but we're not a Christian country. We're not godly people. Few people are godly, but as a nation, as a people, by our behavior, our actions, we're not godly people. Pastors use church and the name of God to manipulate people, take people. We trade on fear. What we trade here is fear. We call ourselves children of God, but we fear our enemies more than we fear God. And the fear of God is supposed to be the beginning of wisdom. It's a long conversation. And not everybody is into this mommy Geo, daddy Geo kind of thing. So I'm not into it. My wife is not into it. It's fine. So I think I'm happy. Probably that's the reason why we're perfectly together. Here's a Patrick say, hopefully I get to 44 years and live life like you have. Inspiration and love is why I'm always here. When you say hopefully you get to live to 44 years, are you terminally ill? Because 44 years is not the target. I'm going to be here till like 100 years. And to be honest, the other day I was talking about impact at home. So I was teaching my children about making impact, affecting life, and not waiting till you're old. Most of the people who impacted our society are like, let's talk about recent ones. Bob Marley died at the age of 26. Think about it. Where were you at 26? What were you doing? What impact have you made? At 26, Bob Marley died. Tupac died at 26. Biggie the same, right? Ned Dogg, Warren G, all of these guys in cross 30, if I'm not mistaken. So you don't need to be like Methuselah to make an impact. David in the Bible was a shepherd boy, and he already made a massive impact. The thing is, be good at what you do and find a space to touch people's lives. People, there is this thing in people's mind. When I get money, I go help people well. Listen, there are kids in your neighborhood that are struggling with math, English in school, and you're good at it. Find time to teach them without sexually harassing them or molesting them. That is an impact. There is a drainage that passes through the front of your house. You don't even need to be the one going into the gutter to dig it. All the security guys around your neighborhood, call them one day. I mean, you could just like 10,000 naira, just give like 500 or 1,000. Tell them, just direct them to drain the place. That's impact. People would feel the impact immediately. You see somebody's child going the wrong way, correct them in a way that you're not destroying them, right? Correction sometimes can be destructive, especially from this part of the world. So you don't need to be 44 to make impact. You can make impact at any point in your life. Sebastian Ima, okay. All the best, boss. Help me greet Osimhen. I thought you were coming to Abuja. Okay, no problem. I will greet him. I'll see him either later today or tomorrow. Depends on what time he comes in. I will go to the camp later, 4-5. That's when I'll go to the camp of the Super Eagles. Where did I stop? Is it Patrick? Okay. Chooks Ashogu says, see me thinking I'd missed the show. What's the story behind this location and setup? I'm in Abuja. Right, I came into Abuja this morning. Flight was delayed a little bit, came in late. I thought I booked a 6 a.m. flight so that plus or minus 9, before 9, I'll be in my hotel room and I'll be set up. And then when we're coming from Lugbe down to Uye, or serious traffic everywhere. So that's what delayed me. This is my temporary hotel room because my room has not even been cleaned. All right, so that's why I'm here. When I finish now, I'll go to my room. The room has already been set up. It's been cleaned. When they called me, I'd already started the show. That's the reason why I'm here. I'm going to be in Abuja till Saturday. This game is on Friday. After the game on Friday, I would leave for Lagos. I'm not going with them to Guinea. I have some things to do in Lagos. I'll be back in Lagos. And Wednesday, I'm back in Nigeria. I might be here. I might not be here, but that's the situation. Let's take this one from Delaro. You say, good morning. Thought we were not going to see you today. I promise you guys that I'm not going to do that thing that I normally do where I just travel and I keep the show blank. I'm going to try to be available to do the show. I mean, I'm also buying kits that will make it possible. If you're listening to the radio right now, I am sure that the show is on the radio. So I'm buying kits that will make it possible for me to broadcast anywhere in the world. Isn't that what radio really is about? I mean, I was listening to Talk Sports the other day. They were in Chatnam. They were broadcasting that you could hear sound in the background. It's different from the studio, but the truth is the show does not die. So I think it's something too that we'll learn. When we see these people do these things, we learn from them. The Elijah wants to say it's a different location today. Just joined. As a Patrick say, boss, I need your insight. Does the Nigerian Federation really owes players money for years? Spoke with an ex-big soccer player, and he said he's owed over 26 million naira, and he might not get it. The answer to that is yes, 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 and yes. The other you say up Arsenal, up Barcelona, up Napoli. Yes. Is it Patrick say, what is your advice to him? And honestly, can he get his money back? He is watching. To be very honest, so this path of trying to help players get their money, I've gotten too involved with too many. Even Nobo's case now, I'm on top of it. I really don't like making it a media war. So what I like doing is, sometimes some of these players, and you can't blame the player because normally once you work, you get paid. I'm an apostle of that. Work, I do my work, I get paid. But I don't know what the arrangement they have with the FA to play the game was, say, a concrete arrangement, or these players are just assuming that they are owing them that amount of money. Having said that, if the NFF is owing me 26 million, I'll borrow money, come Abuja, consider for NFF office. I must get my money. I must find out first. I need to get a concrete information as to why this money have not been paid. Okay, are they going to be shared? I don't even want them to give me part of the money. I want my whole payment paid. Okay, I want my whole payment paid. But I can agree that it cannot be paid at once because there's no money. But they can schedule it in such a way. But one of the things I love footballers do is, I just helped one Tracy player out of a jam. Once that issue come up, they start grumbling behind the scene without going through the appropriate channel. So the NFF have a secretariat in Abuja inside the National Stadium. Now, the person that is responsible for the administration of the NFF is not even the NFF president. It is the Secretary General, Sanisu Mohammed. You have to be able to find your way there. This is big money. Explain, lay claim to your money, and then you get a concrete response, whether written on paper or verbally. And I always advise people, when you go there, put your phone in silence, put it on airplane mode, put it on record, and the person will not know. Just record the person. It's not because you want to fight the person or you want to use it to embarrass them publicly, but that could give you a strong evidence in case it turns into a legal battle. Like I always, if you're owing me 26 million right now and I played football, that money is no longer just my money. That money has now become an investment. That money is the money that my estate can inherit. That's like my children can inherit. And so it's something that I would pursue all legal and paperwork completely so that I can transfer it now to my lawyers who will follow it. After all, you're an ex-player, means you're not going to play again. They cannot blackmail you, but you can collect your money. If the guy is listening, that's the best advice I can give to them. I could be very, very nice, but when it comes to drawing debt, I'm a very terrible human being. I'll drag you, you give my money. You give my money. But I don't do it in public. I don't do all those things that they do in the media. No, media no employ me. And media no owe me. And then they go media, go fight my fight. I would get lawyers to write to you. I will push. If I have 26 million, I tell a lawyer that, lawyer, I want 16 million of that money. I need you take 10 million. Go find the money. 200 lawyer go queue up. Get that money. And lawyers go to talk. I'm not going to talk. There's nothing that will happen. But hey, everybody have their own place to fight in history. Shooks Aseg will say, I like the perspective you gave on the invitation of the unknown players. Very insightful. Thank you very much. And finally on the show today, we've done 1 hour already. It's 59 minutes and a few seconds now. Timothy Dembo, he said, me Peter, I will not the carry banga soup. Can't give you a bag. I'm so glad the Super Eagles are back in action, coupled with the NFF resuming. Well, thank you very much, everyone who joined in, even though not the proper time of the show. Again, I've always said that this show is a flexible show, so sometimes we will not go with the normal time. And this show, what we've proven today is that the show can go on the road, because it's one of the hardest things that we've done. We've not been able to take the show on the road. Every time I'm not in the studio, the show dies. And yeah, I don't want that. We're investing too much, we're pushing, we're committing too many people to be part of the show to just do it like that. I'm sure tomorrow, if the Super Eagles are not training in the morning, tomorrow we definitely will do 9 to 10. Having said that, thank you very much for being on the show today. My name is Edafi Mathias. You love to comment a little bit on the spot. Please, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, do well to subscribe. If you have subscribed and you love what we're doing, do well to invite other people to join us. This channel have the capacity to help solve many of the problems in Nigerian football that you guys are talking about. The reason the Premier League is good is not because of the quality of the players. It's because of that 5 to 8 billion that Sky Sports, BBC, BT, ITV, and now Amazon doesn't are investing to buy media right. I always say, and I will say it again, the day I get to 1 million subscribers and we start earning probably $100,000 on a monthly or on a quarterly basis, I would approach the league organizers and say, I want a behind the scene broadcast rights of the league, and I'm going to put you 10 million or whatever the millions of naira it is. I'm not going to be like other Nigerian media who just, benefit from talking down Nigerian football. I would invest in it, because every country where their football has succeeded, the money that they bank on is media money. I'm building a media for that. It might sound like campaign promises right now, but I mean, what's the harm? Push us to that place and let's see. You guys are also stakeholders. You'll be able to say, this is what you promised that time. Oh, it's time now. We don't get the numbers. We don't reach. We don't get these views. Let's go and do it. And some of you, when I was talking about production of the league, when was I producing the league? 35 people work with us in the 2 games I will produce. Okay? Some of them, I just met them online. Just reach out to people online and they work. The minimum that people earned from doing those work was 100,000 naira working with us just for 1 weekend. Okay, some people end up to 400,000, 350, 720, and plus equipment that we rented. So if this grows as well, we just might be in that place, and it's the reason why I'm not jackpotting. So for those of you who are thinking that I'm going to jackpot these days, anytime the show doesn't run, people say, "I have not jackpot." No, I'm not jackpotting. I'm going to be here. Thank you very much for your time. Let's do this again later today. I'm going to give you my diary. I'm going to give you guys updates on how I move, who I saw in camp, who I didn't see in camp, who is coming and who is not coming. I might also interview the media officer, my former colleague, Babafemi Raji. And if I get access to the coach, I will talk to the coach and it will be on the channel. So please do well to be on the channel. What you can help us do is share our content and drop comments as you watch them. It will also help us very well to encourage me, because coming to Abuja and staying the number of days that I'm staying, this is like almost 500,000 in this economy. After the surgery of my son, it's crazy. But hey, it's my business. I'm minding my business. Have a wonderful day as you also mind your business, doing legitimate things. Bye-bye.